to accept the answer before even knowing the question. That is what religious belief is. NuriShabakaUrsaMa'atRa. Knowledge is infinite, therefore evolution is inevitable. Peace.
Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother Pianki Patamatulu Neferamun Ra. And we got our brother Trust and Believe the Gospel back with us. And we also got our brother NuriShabakaUrsaMa'atRa in the building. What's up, my brother? And we just gonna have an open dialogue with two brothers who I consider to be very powerful, and myself, if I do say so. We're gonna jump into this dialogue, and right now I'm gonna mute my mic and go take care of some business, and I'm gonna let y'all brothers talk amongst yourself for a minute.
Ooh. What's happening, my brother?
Oh man, same old thing, just different day, brother.
Tell me.
Yo, yeah. So we was talking earlier about racism. You had said you wanted to make a comment on that. I wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
Well, I mean, I kind of came up with a quote on my own. You know what I'm saying? I tend to do that from time to time. My quote was, "You can't be black and a racist in America. The two don't go hand in hand. Either you're racist or you're black. Black people cannot discriminate. You know, on a powerful platform like that's what I'm saying. That was my spiel on. You know what I'm saying? I just had a quick comment on that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing Pianki was saying, and what I was doing, I was telling him I don't disagree with him because he was pretty much saying, you know, us as black people, even if we are racist, we don't have the power to carry out the racism, so therefore we're not racist. So what I did was I just simply read the definition of what racism is, and based off the definition, as Pianki agrees to, based off the definition, anybody can be racist, but based off the context that he and you were saying, you know, us not having the power and stuff, so it really don't matter. So so I came to the conclusion, I was like, well, really, since the word racist gets thrown around a lot, and since the context that you all are explaining is not in the definition of racism, I feel as if we should, you know how they add words to the dictionary all the time. I feel like we should come up with just another word to describe the context that you all are explaining, because based off the definition, which gives two definitions, neither of them fit that term. You know, based off the definition of course you have discrimination in there, and then it also says go ahead.
Let me check real quick. I would ask you if somebody came up and said Bill Duke is a racist. What would be the definition that would come in your head? Would it be the definition that comes in the dictionary, or would it be another definition that'll pop in your head immediately without you going to the dictionary?
What's the person's name you said? Bill who?
I just made up a name.
Okay. Yeah. If somebody came to me and said somebody was a racist, then yeah, I would think of the definition in the head. I would think that they feel that their race is superior to my race.
Okay. Because I definitely agree with you. I agree with you. You know, with the terms that's in the dictionary and what we experience on a day-to-day basis, it definitely don't it don't match.
Right. Yeah. And that's what me and Pianki was agreeing on. We was like, yeah, based off the definition, yeah, anybody can be racist. But like you said, based off of the context that y'all gave, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? I agree with y'all in y'all's context. All I was saying was that wasn't the definition of racist. So I feel like, you know, we should come up with another term and use that term, because y'all are not wrong in how y'all feel. that's just not the term for what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all right.
Exactly. And see,
they do have power.
What I was kind of getting out of you was you agree with us without even really saying, because you saying it was our term or whatever, but it's kind of your turn too, because that's the first thing that most people in America would think about. They won't think about the definition that's, in a Webster or whatever. They're gonna think about what's really going on in America right now. And that's why I specify in America. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't have a power abroad either, though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm specifying, my journey in America.
I feel like, I know people use racist because it's a strong word, but whatever word that we can come up with to define the context that we're talking about as the system of power, if we gave a person that term, then that would be more powerful than even calling them a racist, because now you are a person who dislikes a person and you're acting on your racism. So I don't feel like we just have to stick to the term racist. We can come up with a term that's more powerful than racist and call somebody that. You see what I'm saying?
That's a great idea.
Because I don't mind somebody being racist, to be honest, because I can be racist and don't have a threat towards you. Like, for example, I can be pro-black, which means that I'm for my people. I can think that my people are above your people, but that don't mean that I want to hurt you. So really, based off the term, you can feel as if your people are superior to somebody, and that makes you a racist. And really, ain't nothing wrong with that. So that term is not powerful enough. We need to come up with a term that's powerful enough to say, well, this person hates my race, and they want to act on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that'd be more powerful, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, words get added to the dictionary every day. So if it was a way for us to all agree on some kind of consensus, I mean, I don't know how to get a word inside the dictionary, but if we all can agree to come to a consensus, then we'd come up with a way more powerful word. That way, when we call an individual, let's just say the word is can. That way, when we call a white person can, other people can know, yeah, they don't like black people, and they're willing to act on it. If it's killing them or stabbing them or shooting them, that'd be more powerful than just saying, well, that person feel like they race more superior than yours. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I agree.
Yeah, that's all I was saying. So yeah, but so like I said, I agree with y'all. Black people, we don't have the power even if we were racist and didn't like your group to the point to where we want to harm your group, we don't have the power. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all have the power where if y'all hate us, y'all can actually, like you said, kill us, lock us up, and do all that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I totally agree with that. It just needs to be defined under another word that I don't think is in the dictionary yet. But we can always put one in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna have to come up with one.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, how many slang words got added to the dictionary over time? But we do it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Back in 92, 93, we wasn't saying bling.
Right. We weren't saying spot. We weren't calling girls spot. We weren't talking about pull up in the whip.
Exactly.
Yeah, so words get added every day, man. So yeah, I feel like we just dog the pump.
Let me ask y'all something real quick. I'm gonna ask y'all give y'all a hip hop quiz. With our boy Trust actually being a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
And you being a hip hop head, Mr. Shabaka, who coined the term bling before Cash Money Records?
Tupac.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was going to say Cash Money. You got me.
Tupac. It was a song called Let's Be Friends. You remember that? It was one of them unreleased tracks that came out after he died.
Yes, y'all a little older than me, so yeah. I mean, of course, I know Tupac.
We're showing our age.
I mean, y'all ain't that much older than me. I'm just saying, when I was like a teenager and stuff, Cash Money, No Limit, that was popping then. So
Let me see if I could segue this into a different topic, man. So now, I have an assertion that the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, is anti-African. And excuse me, and I have my reason for saying that. Now, Trust, I'm going to assume you disagree with that.
Of course.
Brother Shabaka, I don't know where you stand on it, but we don't always agree. So what's your sentiments on that assertion?
On the anti-African? Well, the reason why I would agree with that is because when you go back to the origin of how, we ain't gonna talk about the different scribes and stuff like that. We talking about the Bible, you know what I'm saying? The canonized version of the Bible. It was inspired basically by Greeks, and the Greeks were not fans of the Africans. And everything they put in there was not to glorify Africans. So I would agree in that sense,
Yeah, and for me, I'm just talking about the narrative now, and I'm gonna let my brother Trust respond after this. So now, if we talk about the narrative, let's talk about Noah cursing Canaan, because he didn't curse Ham. I think he cursed. He didn't curse Canaan. He cursed Ham. And so Ham is supposed to be the progenitor of the dark races. That don't make dog sense to me, but he's supposed to be the progenitor of Africans. He got cursed for something his father did, but all right. So then we fast forward to the book of Exodus. And we can stay in Genesis and how we talk about Abraham teaching the Egyptians, and I'm saying Egyptians just for the narrative's sake, teaching the Egyptians math and science and etc. First of all, come on. And it was a drought, and Joseph had to save the Egyptians.
Right.
These people who mastered agriculture based on the flooding of the Nile, and this Israelite had to come and save them. Okay, that's fine too. So then we fast forward to the Exodus, and the Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph, all of a sudden want to kill all these Israelites, because 72 of them came up in there, and all of a sudden, now how many million of them was it?
3.
I forget how many, that the 70 something multiplied into so many million. So
2 or 3. I think it's like 2 or 3 million.
Okay, so now, yeah, so okay, he want to kill him. So also now, 100%, this
Who was the Pharaoh?
This African ruler is the villain. He killing kids indiscriminately, right? And so Moses is saved. He grows up in the house of the Pharaoh, and these events take place. Moses meets God in the burning bush, etc. All of that.
What's the Pharaoh name?
Come on, man. It don't name one of his 5 names. Neither Pharaoh. Every Pharaoh had at least 5 royal names, and it don't name one. But that's neither here nor there. But we know Moses come back. He want the Pharaoh to let his people go, and the Pharaoh like, nah, I'm not doing it. So my point is, it paints the picture that this ruler is indiscriminately cruel to these people.
Right.
He refuses to let them go, even in the face of the power of their God. I'm talking about plague, the water, the rivers, the Nile is turned to blood. It's frogs, it's locusts, it's this darkness. It take for his son.
And kill his son. Kill his son.
That's what it take for him to say, yeah, y'all get the hell on up out of here. So, but even after that, he chased him down and try to kill him. So my point being, this evil African king would not relent in trying to kill these poor, hapless Israelites. And from that point on, Egypt is used as an example of slavery, persecution, oppression, etc. Egypt, as we know, as I still say today, was the pinnacle of African civilization, African culture, science, etc., spirituality. And so that being Northeast Africa and the closest that these people had to encountering Africans, it set the standard for what they thought Africa was. And so this is how they viewed Africa. Now, for that to be used as the example for their interactions with Africans going forward, to me, that's why I say it's an anti-African book. And I know Moses married the Cushite woman and all of that, but that's not a surprise. He grew up as an Egyptian. I'm sure he was attracted. That's what he was attracted to black women.
Right.
So that's not a surprise. So anyway, I mean,
it had to be close complexion.
What's that?
They had to have the same complexion for him to be able to be tricked.
There you go.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to blend in Pharaoh. Yeah.
So let me answer something. You know, I'm just waiting to answer some of that stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. It's on you, and then we'll let Brother Shabaka go in.
You did say the Old Testament, right? Not the whole Bible.
I was specifically talking about the Old Testament because I think in the New Testament it's kind of like when you get into the
it takes for everybody, right. Yeah, right. I was just making sure so I don't use no New Testament scriptures instead of the Old Testament. I was making sure. Okay. No, the Bible is not anti-African. The Bible is not anti-nobody. The Bible is pro-righteousness. Now, we know that God is not anti-African because in the same book of Exodus, when the Israelites wanted to go back and go to war with Egypt, God said, no, those are my people too. So that's showing that the Hebrew Israelites want to do evil to the Egyptians. And God was like, no, evil is evil, man. Y'all can't go over there and do that. Y'all was visitors or y'all was slaves in their land. The Bible clearly told them, those are y'all brothers. It says just like that. And just like you said, he married an Ethiopian woman.
Okay.
And like you alluded to earlier, Moses married an Ethiopian woman. So if God was teaching them to have a problem with other nations, then it would have been against the law for him to even marry somebody that wasn't of his culture. So, and I know.
Trust, let me interrupt you for 1 second. I ain't say God. Yeah. I ain't say God.
What? The Bible.
Yeah.
Okay, the Bible. Okay. Well, if I got you. Okay. The Bible. Okay. Let me see. How can I put this? Okay, of course, not everything told to Moses came from God. Put it like that. But the words of God, according to the narrative, the words of God were spoken to Moses for Moses to draw the conclusion that he drew in his everyday life. So if the word of God, which is the Bible, was teaching Moses or the Israelites to be anti-African, then it wouldn't have said so many good things about Africa. Now, when it comes to about Egypt, when it comes to the pharaohs that God punished in the era that he was punishing the pharaohs in, those were individual pharaohs according to their wickedness and their sin that he punished. He wasn't doing that because of the whole anti-African thing. He was doing that based off that specific pharaoh being disobedient. So that kills the whole narrative. And as you know,
who's he being disobedient to? Who's the pharaoh being disobedient to?
when according to what you're talking about, when the plagues and stuff came like that.
He was, yeah, that's what I want to know. Who he was being disobedient to God.
Yeah, right. I was asking because it's different, pharaohs in there that God dealt with. But if you're talking about that specific story when Moses was saying, "Let my people go," yeah. As you know, Moses went to the dude 9 times, 10 if you want to count the first one, and he's telling the dude, "Hey man, let my people go." Pharaoh saying, "No." He's saying, "Let my people go." He's saying, "No." Moses is showing him that whoever I serve is greater than you. The Pharaoh was like, "No." So the Pharaoh went and got his Magites and his people of witchcraft and spirituality. They threw their rods down on the ground. Their rods turned to snakes, showing that they do have a God. Moses threw his staff down, and his snake swallowed up their snake. So he was giving him chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. The dude didn't want to believe it. Bam. So I got to go and give you that punishment. God never wakes up one day and be like, well, oh, I don't like this person, so let me just act like a mafia boss and kill this person. Every single death or plague or any kind of rat that happened in the Bible, God gave a reason for why he did that. He didn't just wake up and was like, I don't like this person or this nation or that, let me just kill everybody. So if we're going to say God is anti-African, we're going to have to say that God is anti-Israel too, because God sent Israel into slavery a bunch of times in the Bible. God destroyed their land a bunch of times in the Bible. If that's the case, then God has to be anti-world, because when we look at the flood of Noah, according to the biblical narrative, God killed everybody in every nation. So God got to be anti-everybody then, if that's the case. So we can't take one story focused on one area and say, well, God hates these people, when he's giving examples that he's doing this to every nation, including the chosen nation. So God is not anti-nobody. God is pro-truth. That's what I want to say.
I got a question. What makes them the chosen nation?
God said he chose. I don't know why he specifically chose them, but I'm sorry. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. He said he chose them because he wanted to have them as an example to the other nations. Now, why he chose each individual, the Bible don't say.
Did God know they wasn't going to accept Jesus?
Yeah.
He knew it.
It says in the Old Testament that when the Messiah comes, his own will not receive him, and this is before Jesus came.
It say who won't receive him? The Jews?
Yeah, his own. Jesus' own wouldn't receive him, which is the Hebrews, Jews, the Israelites. Yeah. It gives that prophecy before Jesus even came on the scene.
So Mary nationality was Jew?
Yeah, according to the tradition, yeah, she was a Hebrew too. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know Mary was an Israelite.
Yeah, she came through the line of David, because Jesus was prophesied to be through the line of David, and of course, just according to the biblical narrative, I ain't sure you gotta believe this, but she didn't have sex with Joseph, so she got impregnated by the Holy Spirit. So she had to be a daughter of a male that was already a Hebrew, because you take your daddy lineage according to the Bible.
That was my thing. You take your daddy's, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Was the Holy Spirit a Jew?
I mean, yeah, that's. I would have to say the Holy Spirit ain't got no nationality. Wow. That was lit though. I ain't never asked. Yeah, that was a good question. But no, he's not a Jew. It's not a Jew. That was lit, bro. I like that. That was lit right there.
Wow. I gotta edit that one part out and just
keep that in there, man. That was funny,
I just gotta make that its own part of
okay.
trailer or something. Wow.
Yeah, that was lit right there. I like that. The Spirit ain't got no nationality. That was a good. I like that was good.
Hey, brother, I got a disclaimer. I'm the mind percolator. I make you think. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Oh no, I like that, bro. I like that, bro. I ain't never heard that before. Yeah, I love comedy, bro. That was lit, bro. That was lit. That was lit. Somebody another Christian probably would have got mad at you. You said
he would have got mad, you know. I know when I was a Christian, if somebody would have said that, I would have got mad.
Trust. My heart dropped because I thought you was finna get mad.
No. I mean, he didn't blast. He made the show. He didn't blaspheme. The Bible says it's disrespectful to blaspheme the Holy Spirit, but that wasn't blasphemy, man. Some people take it too far, bro. Y'all know them holier than thou Christians, bro. Sometimes it just ain't that serious, bro. Yeah, it just ain't that serious, bro. That was a good one, bro. If I was if I go become a comedian tomorrow, bro, I'm still in that, bro. Believe me, I'm gonna go say that in front of a Christian audience. Hey, y'all.
Oh man, y'all know the Bible says that.
I would go kill that, bro. What? I'm gonna have all the Christians laughing with that, boy. yeah. But no, it wasn't the Holy Spirit. I mean, the Holy Spirit wasn't the Jew. No, Jesus is counted as coming through the bloodline of David. So, you know, according to the biblical narrative, any male or female, you are what your father is. So Mary was already an Israelite before she even came with Joseph or any of them. Her daddy would have been an Israelite.
Wow.
I got another quick little question. Going back to the story of Moses. Now you got the Israelites that done seen. Now tell me, does this make sense? You know.
Okay.
You got the Israelites who seen all of these wonders. They never seen this before until Moses. You know, they like, wow, you know, because they wasn't praising, you know, they weren't worshiping God. They didn't know anything about God until Moses brought it to their attention, right?
No, they already had God before God revealed himself to Moses.
But I thought like they were participating in the Egyptian gods. They wasn't into, you know, Moses' God.
Yeah, right? At first, they would have been practicing the customs that Egypt practiced.
He brought them out of Egypt, and they seen all of these wonders happen, right?
Right.
They seen a whole sea being parted, right?
Right.
They seen chariots of fire. They seen all kind of plagues, people die. They seen everything, right?
What will make them turn back?
And then they turned back and made their own idols after that.
Yeah.
That they could have wrote it a little differently. You know what I'm saying? But they was primitive people.
But see, they give integrity to the text because when you read a lot of ancient history, most people in ancient history don't give you the downfalls of their culture. They only give you the glamorized version of it. And that's one reason why ancient scholars, some of them attest, even if they don't believe in the whole Bible, they will attest that certain parts are historical based off of the integrity of the text. Now, we do that today.
They call it an argument from embarrassment, but that's not
right. Yeah.
But to me, the argument from embarrassment only holds so much weight. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah. Okay. Like I was saying, the reason why they say that is because most ancient texts don't do that. You know, it's only a glorification of their text. Now, you know, some do it, but most don't. Anyway, back to your point. We do that today, man. Me and Brother Pianki
You saying that's a downfall? When they rejected, that was a downfall?
Yeah, that's something bad, you know. For you to know 2 + 2 is 4 and then still believe that 2 + 2 is 6, yeah, that's a downfall. That's a downfall, like you said. God just showed y'all all these
and we're talking 3 million people doing that at the same time.
Or more. Yeah, or more.
Or more.
Yeah. Right. Okay, now watch this. We still do that today. There are people who come out of their lifestyle. They come into the church. They change their lifestyle for the better, become better, people better this, better that, and then they still walk away from Christianity. So it's no different today than how it was back then. Some people are human.
They didn't walk away from actually witnessing an ocean or a body of water raise up and part.
I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that, but a special revelation.
They didn't witness the type of, claims that happen in the Bible. They didn't witness those type of things. They already was convinced that those things happen. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't witness nothing to the level of that. That's my argument. Like, if you see a whole ocean part, and then you say, you know what, that guy really ain't even bought out all that. I'm gonna make another.
Right. Okay. Well, I got you on that. But see, watch this.
Okay.
So your claim is it has to be something big in order for a person to believe that A, B, and C is true or real.
No.
Wait. A conversion or something that you experience that's real is real, regardless if it's on a big scale or a small scale. So if God,
right,
if
that's
God
not
truly,
what. No, that wasn't what I was saying.
Hold, watch this. So
okay.
if at that time God was building a nation, so it may have took that big of an experience, or like you said, 3,000 people to be convinced of whatever it was.
3 million.
3 million, I mean, yeah, or more. For an individual to experience the power of God, it doesn't have to necessarily be on that scale for you to still have an experience with God that you knew wasn't experienced. So I'm saying that to say there are people today who have had those experiences with God where God have revealed himself to God. I'm not saying you had that or anybody else had it. I'm saying there are people who have testified, who have came out and said that they have had an experience with God through whatever form. And years later, you will see them still being disobedient to God. So it's not unique to the Hebrew Israelites because they did it. It's human nature for us to have free will to decide to do whatever we want to do, regardless of God show himself to us or not, in whatever form. You know what I'm saying? Like me. Okay, let me give you an example. I believe in God. Now, I haven't had no Red Seas move or none of that. I believe in God. I believe in God. Let's just say I was there when the Red Seas happened, right? Now, let's just say my level of belief in God is to that length where I saw the seas part of even though I didn't see it. I still do stuff that go against God, bro. I'm a Christian right now, and I'm not perfect, bro. I still do stuff that I know the Bible say don't do, and I'm convinced that God is real, and I still do stuff that contributes to that, bro. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's just human nature, bro.
I think it's a difference. I think it's a difference, though. It's a difference being convinced. It's a difference of being convinced and believing that a miracle or something is actually happening, or God interceding in something. It's a difference in being convinced and believing that was God to actually being in them times and seeing a Red Sea parting. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on for a second.
I get what you're saying.
Hold on for a second.
Okay, now, yeah, I was just pretty much saying, like, what you're saying is they experienced, like a big miracle. So that should have made them believe even more and not turn their back on God in any way, shape, or form, since that's something that they've seen physically.
Right. Because think about it. Me and you growing up the way we was growing up and raised the way we was raised, we didn't have to be convinced of a miracle. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to be convinced of a miracle. We already believed before we even had any kind of evidence. We already believed that.
Right. And this is
that's a difference.
If I may, the reason that y'all already believed it, though, is because, the quote I always give Shabaka: religion would crumble under the weight of its own absurdity if it wasn't for what? Child indoctrination. You were told from the time you literally in your mother's belly that God, be it Jehovah, Jesus, Allah, whatever the case may be, you were told that deity is real. And so,
but we're gonna get off subject if we go down that rabbit hole, because now I'm only saying that. I'm only saying that because that's only true for certain people. if that was true totally, then you wouldn't have people converting to other religions, or you wouldn't have people from other religions converting to Christianity. Hold up.
Let Trust go. Let Trust go.
That alone debunks the fact that because you grow up in a certain religion, that doesn't mean that you're going to carry on that religion, because people convert to or change religion all the time. So that's only true for, really it ain't true at all, because people walk away from their religions all the time, and you are more likely from your child to walk away from what you taught them as they get older than you are for your child to stay. Preachers' kids are the worst kids in the world. So
how often do they stay permanently removed though?
Yeah, I mean, no. I'm not saying that every single preacher kid walk away. I'm just, it's a saying that they preacher kids or the kids. What I'm saying is, if the narrative that you are taught something since you were born, then that's why you believe it. If that is true, then people will not convert to other religions. People converting to other religions disprove that opinion.
They were no longer convinced. That's why.
It doesn't matter why.
As long as you stay convinced, you will believe.
And that's my argument, though, because the argument is that if you were raised in a certain religion, then you believe it because you were raised that way. You just made my point as it don't matter why they leave it. If they leave it, that means that it doesn't matter if you was raised up in it. You could always change to something else.
And if they do leave it,
so it's not true. It's not true.
Okay, say for instance, you had 100 Christians, right?
Right.
Out of those 100 Christians, how many of those Christians are going to leave that religion?
Probably majority of them.
You said a majority?
Yeah.
If the majority, okay, even if they leave the religion, are they still convinced that it is a God? How many then?
Okay, now, yeah, probably all of them.
Majority are still convinced it's a God.
Yeah. Like for example, like people that leave Christianity and they go to Islam, or like go to another religion with another God, but yeah, they still believe it's a God. Yeah. But hold up, but that's
I'm not saying it's impossible to leave a religion. That wasn't what I was saying. I'm saying that me and you, when we started off, no matter how our journey ended, we started off convinced already.
Right. But
that's what I was saying.
Now, I was convinced.
We started off convinced.
I was convinced that.
We lost him.
Yeah, I hope he come back on.
Yeah, I hope the brother come back. But yeah, cause hey,
his phone might have died.
Yeah, his phone might have died. I thought that was a powerful dialogue though that y'all was having. I ain't gonna front. I thought it was powerful.
Right.
But, for now, we'll go ahead and sign off of this. But yeah, we'll go ahead and sign off this particular episode of. I think we got our brother back. Hold on. Peace.
Yeah, my bad, man.
Peace, brother. I was hoping you called back, man. I like talking to you, man.
I'm coming back.
I just was telling my cousin, I said, I like this brother. This is a good brother here.
I'm coming back. Oh, yeah, man. So you're pretty cool, too, man. So it's all love, man.
No doubt, man.
Yeah, he ain't running away from no convo, so.
Oh, I know he ain't running.
I want smoke.
I can feel his energy. He ain't no runner.
You heard him? He said, I want the smoke.
Yeah, that's gonna be like Bianchi. I'm gonna have to have you come on my wrestling channel, bro. That's what I'm gonna call it, bro. We want the smoke. And that's because of the street. And that's because of the street prophets, and they black. So you already know we're gonna want that.
For sure. So check it out, man. We're gonna end this particular show, and then we're gonna jump right into this this discussion we having on morality. So we'll be right back with y'all in a minute. This has been Paradigm Shift TV 314 Hotel.